Good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible. Please confirm if I'm audible or not.
Yes, sir, it is audible.
Thank you. Thank you, Surekha.
Thank you, sir.
So I can see that three participants have joined till now. I think we can wait for a few more minutes and then we can go ahead. I can see Shravana, Sandhya, Surekha, Chandana. I request the person who has joined with the phone name Realme RMX 3844. Kindly change your name. You can change your name by clicking on the three dots on the corner of your box and then just rename it. Participant who has joined with the phone name, you can rename it by clicking on the three dots on the right corner of your box that is there that you have joined the class through. Okay, so the participants who are already there, I'll share my screen. Please let me know if my screen is visible or not. And also, I would like to ask you, is there a lot of resounding here or echo kind of thing when I'm talking?
No, sir.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Chandana. I'll share my screen. Please let me know if my screen is visible or not. Yes, I have shared my screen. Please let me know if my screen is visible or not. If you're able to see the entire screen, all the other things, please let me know so that I can make changes if required. Yes, is my screen visible? Okay. Yes. Chandana, Surekha, is my screen visible? Please confirm.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Thank you so much. Thank you for confirming it. So
Yes,
once
sir.
again, I think we'll start the class. Participants who are joining can just join the class meanwhile. So once again, good evening to everyone. And we all have joined here with a common goal, that is to know the syllabus and also to understand the major concepts that are required in order to attempt the EMRS 2025 exam, specifically the pedagogy aspect of it. You all might have already seen the syllabus that is given for EMRS. In our previous video, very briefly, the syllabus was discussed to all of you. And what we are going to do is we are going to cover each and every aspect of syllabus. Okay, which is very important. Usually what happens is the outer part is covered or, yes, usually the outer part is covered or they just revise the PYQs, but it is very important to understand the concepts also. Without the concept, it's going to be very difficult for us to answer questions which are application based. You might all have written seated exam and you might have come across questions where they have made statements and they have asked you to relate it to a theory or a concept. So that is why we here at Tej Academy are offering you free classes covering the entire syllabus that is required for the Tier 1 exam of EMRS 2025. So before we start, I would request you all to kindly subscribe our YouTube channel Tej Academy. We'll also be posting our class videos later on our YouTube page for free. And you can also join us through WhatsApp on the below given number. And I'm glad to inform you all that we also have our own app on Play Store. You can scan this QR code and or just go to Google Play Store and type Tej Academy and download our app. So why am I suggesting you to download the app is because we have all the PYQs, the previous year questions. We have compiled questions of different recruitment examinations, and we have made a pool of questions. And we have also developed mock tests using those questions and in-house developed questions, which will give you a complete overview of the different areas that are going to be covered and what type of questions could be asked in the EMRS 2025 Tier 1 exam. So without delaying, we'll move ahead. Before that, if you want to talk, you can just unmute and speak. If you have any doubt, you can please ask or pause me at any time. It's not like you have to ask me at the end of the discussion. You can just unmute your mic and ask your doubt if you have any. I would highly suggest you to ask doubts and get your doubts clarified on the spot rather than asking them later or keeping them on hold, because sometimes there might be a tendency that you might forget the doubt. So we'll move on ahead. So as discussed before, I have selected the topic of Bloom's taxonomy and basic requirements for effective teaching for today's class. All of you who have done your B.Ed might be aware with the concept of Bloom's taxonomy and the different domains that it covers. So what is Bloom's taxonomy? Bloom's taxonomy helps us build complete and well-rounded learning experiences. We all have used Bloom's taxonomy to write lesson plans. We know the different action verbs that come in. We know the different cognitive domains. We know the affective domains and psychomotor domains. So Bloom's taxonomy was developed by Benjamin Bloom in the year 1956 to classify educational goals and objectives. In order to classify the different goals that you're going to achieve in class, different objectives that you're going to cover in class, Benjamin Bloom devised Bloom's taxonomy. So there are three distinct domains in Bloom's taxonomy. The first one is what the student should know, that is the cognitive domain, what they should feel, the affective domain, what they should do, the psychomotor domain. When we talk about types of learners, right, there are different aspects. Similarly, when we look into learning, how Benjamin Bloom has envisioned learning, viewed learning, he has divided them into three distinct domains, that is cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. Let us learn them in detail. Before learning them, you also might have heard about revised Bloom taxonomy. We know from the previous slide that in the year 1956, Benjamin Bloom gave us the Bloom's taxonomy. And in the year 2001, Lauren Anderson and David Crothwall gave us the revised Bloom's taxonomy. So what was done here? If you'll recall your B.Ed classes, you might have seen a pyramid, right? Which had different terms in it. So what Lauren Anderson and Crothwall did in revised Bloom's taxonomy is they changed the nouns that were given in Bloom's taxonomy with action verbs. Okay? Remember, this revised Bloom's taxonomy happened only for the cognitive levels, not for the affective and psychomotor. We'll discuss the different domains, different subparts that come in the affective and psychomotor ones. But the revised Bloom's taxonomy was done for the cognitive levels. What are these cognitive levels? Let us look into that. If you'll see, the first one on the left side, if you can see, the year 1956, we got the original Bloom's taxonomy. And these had nouns such as knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. So these nouns were changed into action verbs. For example, as you can view here, knowledge was changed to remember. Comprehension was changed to understand. Application was changed to apply. Analysis to analyze. And if you can see the last two, they were interchanged. According to Anderson and Crothwall, they said, and most of the educationists also believe, that create is the highest level of cognitive domain. So they brought evaluate down and they took create up in the revised Bloom's taxonomy. Any doubts still here?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So moving on to the cognitive domain, that is thinking and knowing. So what does this domain do? This domain is all about the intellectual skills and knowledge acquisition. As we just now saw the pyramid, of revised Bloom's taxonomy and Bloom's taxonomy. The revised contained remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. In the pyramid, remember was at the lowest level. If you can see, remember was at the lowest level, and then we move on to create, which is the highest level. So remembering, understanding, and applying come in one aspect, whereas analyzing, evaluating, and creating are usually considered as higher order levels of cognitive domain. You might have heard about the term HOTS, right? Technically, higher order thinking will include analyzing, evaluating, and also creating. Okay. So do you want me to dive into the details of each of these levels? Let us do it. Okay. So I'll take one example. I'll also be giving you multiple examples here, but I'll have kept one standard example for explaining each of the action verb given in the cognitive domain of the revised Bloom's taxonomy. So let us use the example of bicycle to understand each level, that is from remember to create. So what is remember? Remember is recalling facts, basic concepts, and information without necessarily understanding it. Please remember this. This is very important. So, without necessarily understanding it. Remembering means recalling facts, basic concepts, and information without necessarily understanding it. I'll take an example. We all have heard about black holes, right? Big Bang Theory, and we have heard about black holes in physics. We all know that there's a term called black hole. If asked, yes, I have heard about black hole, but we are recalling black hole without basic concept or information about it. Okay, so this is remembering the lowest level of Bloom's taxonomy. So there are different action verbs that come in remembering level. Define, list, memorize, repeat, name, state, and there are many more that come in remember level. So for defining something, it's not necessary that you need to understand how it works. You can just remember it. For listing the things, you can just remember it. So all these action verbs come for the remember level. And the example, as I said, I'll use the similar example of bicycle riding. The example here is list the main parts of a bicycle. So this comes as a remember level: pedals, handlebars, wheels, chains, etc. Any doubt here? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. We'll move on to the next one. Second one is understanding. Yes. Anup, do you have any doubt? Your mic is unmute. Anup? Yes, Anup, I think your mic is unmute accidentally. Can you please mute it? I hope I'm audible to him. Yes, Anup. Anup, am I audible to you? Anup, could you please mute? Okay, I'll request admin to please take care of it. Yes. Just give me 1 minute. I'll just reach out means so that Anup can be muted. I think he's not aware that he has unmuted himself. I'm sorry for this. Anup, thank you so much. So this saves us a lot.
Sir, you're on mute, sir.
I'm really sorry. I'm audible now. Thank you so much. Yes. So thank you, Anup, for muting. We have saved some time. Yes. So we'll now talk about understanding. The next level. We have learned about remember. Now we are going higher up to understanding. What is understanding? Explaining ideas or concepts in your own words. It is about demonstrating comprehension. How to show that you have learned something or you have understood something when you are able to explain them in your own words. That is understanding. So what are the different action verbs that come in understanding? Explain, paraphrase, summarize, describe, classify, and discuss. You might have a small confusion that classify can also be used in higher order. I completely agree. But again, depending on the purpose for which you are using the action verbs, there are very few action verbs that come under different knowledge, cognitive domains. Okay. But then it depends on the purpose that you are using it for. For example, if you have taught them the concept of, let us say, types of plants. So if you're giving them examples of different types of plants, they're able to classify them into herbs, shrubs, and trees. Okay, that is the classifier that we're using here. So if we'll take an example of the cycle example that we're discussing, explain the function of a bicycle's chain. So if you're able to explain how the bicycle chain works, what is its function, purpose, that means you have understood the concept of that chain that the bicycle has. Any doubt here? Okay, I'll take your silence as yes, and we'll move on to the next one. Next one is applying, application. So applying is using the acquired knowledge in new situations to solve the problem. So whatever you have understood, that knowledge, when you're applying it to new situation, then it becomes application. So the action verbs that you use here is apply, use, demonstrate, implement, solve, choose, and even there are a lot more. In the notes, we'll also be supplying you notes in the Tej Academy app. So when you'll go to the notes, we'll be giving you additional action verbs that come under each cognitive domain of the revised Bloom's taxonomy. Okay. So if we take at the example, look at the example for applying. Demonstrate how you would use a tire pump to inflate a flat bicycle tire. Okay, so here you're trying to demonstrate how you will use a tire pump to inflate a flat bicycle tire. Any doubt till here?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you, Sandhya. We'll move on to the next one, that is analyzing. Now we are moving into the higher order ones. Analyzing is breaking down information into its constituent parts to explore relationships and understand the organizational structure. Very important, please remember, if at all they ask you a question regarding analyzing, please remember it is breaking down information into its constituent parts or smaller parts. Okay? And trying to explore the relationship between these broken down parts. Okay? Trying to explore the relationship between these different information that you have broken down into smaller parts and understand the organizational structure. So what are the different action verbs you'll use here? You'll use analyze, compare, contrast, differentiate, examine, and organize. The action verb in themselves are higher order. You have to analyze something. That means you should know how they work, right? You should know how the application part of it also. To compare two things, to contrast, differentiate, right? So if you take the example, if you look at the example that we have been discussing, the common example, compare and contrast the braking system of a road bike and a mountain bike. Okay, so you have two types of bicycles here. That is a road bike, the one which you usually drive, and the mountain bikes you might have seen in social media videos or other things where they use them for extreme sports, right? So you're trying to now compare and contrast how the braking systems are different in these two bikes. Okay, any doubt till here?
No, sir.
Okay. I'll move on to the next one, that is evaluating. Evaluating is making judgments and justifying a decision or course of action based on the criteria and standards. So you are evaluating the information. You are making a judgment or you're justifying a decision. This is right. Why this is right? This is wrong. Why this is wrong? And this is not just simply said. It is based on criteria and standards that you have learned, you have understood, you have applied, and you have analyzed. That's why you are now coming to evaluate. Okay. So making judgments and justifying a decision or course of action based on different criteria and standards. So action verbs that you'll use here are evaluate, justify, defend, criticize, recommend, and support. And I'll take the same example if I take the same example, evaluate which type of bicycle is best for long distance tour and justify your choice. Okay, so for this, you need to know a lot of information in order to evaluate and justify why will you choose a specific bicycle for a long distance tour. Okay, so this is evaluate. And now let us go to the last one, the highest one, that is create, the highest level. What is create? Create is nothing but generating new ideas, products, or ways of viewing things. Perception. It involves putting elements together to form a new coherent whole. The action verbs that you'll use here are create, design, invent, develop, formulate, and propose. If you look at the different, if you look at the example, the cycle example, it's very interesting. Design a new safety feature for a bicycle to improve visibility at night. So now you have to know a lot of things. You should know what is a light, how does it function, what are the different ways in which we can showcase, right, how a bicycle would be visible to other people who are driving at night. And these innovations, this create, the create level has brought in different innovations. We have now the radium stickers on vehicles, right? We have night light now. The bicycles, most of the bicycles are now coming with lights. If you've seen cyclists who cycle at night, they have a pulsing light, red light on the back of their cycle and helmets also, right? So someone has created this. But for you to create this, you should know all the lower levels. Any doubt till here? With this, we have completed the first one, the cognitive domain of Bloom's taxonomy. Now let us enter into the affective domain. The affective domain talks about feelings and values. Okay, please remember the term affective means feelings and values. So if a question comes in the examination about affective domain of Bloom's taxonomy, or in general, they'll ask you about affective domain, please remember to associate it with feelings and values. This domain deals with our emotions, attitudes, values, and appreciation. Okay. It is about the emotional growth of the learner. And it again has 5 different categories. I'm really sorry for the handwriting because I'm using a mouse to write, but we'll surely improve it in the coming classes. So in someone is using the, yeah, okay, it's clear. So even here in the affective domain, we have 5 different levels. All this is learned in the B.Ed classes. I request Page Academy to stop annotating. I kindly request Page Academy to stop annotating. Yes. Okay. Okay. I think it is accidentally happened. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, I think, yes. Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry for that. Yes. So as we were discussing, even the affective domain, which deals with feelings and values, okay, these domains deal with our emotions, attitudes, and values and appreciation aspect. So again, here the lowest level is the receiving part, responding comes second, valuing comes third, then comes organizing, and the highest level is characterizing. When can we say that a particular individual has a very strongly developed affective domain is when the person is able to characterize. What is this characterize? Don't worry, we'll be exploring them now. Let me clear this up. Yes. So first level, the lowest level is receiving. Now, what is this receiving? It is being aware of or passively attending to a certain stimuli. So what we'll do is, we'll take an example. We'll take an example of attending school's environmental club. Okay. you are a student, you are attending the school's environmental club. So all the examples are put in that sequence, so don't worry about it. Please remember, we are trying to attend the school's environmental club. And now we are trying to look into the affective domain of the learner. So first one, receiving, the lowest level, talks about being aware of or passively attending to certain stimuli. It is about the willingness to listen. If I'll use the example, you will be completely clear with it. The student listens to the announcement about the environmental club's first meeting. Okay, so receiving is nothing but trying to take in the information. No need to participate, but you are actively listening, right? And you're registering it. That is the first level, that is receiving. Sorry. Moving on to the second one, that is responding. Responding talks about actively participating in the process, right? In the first one, it was just listening, registering. Here it's participating, responding, actively participating in the learning process. The student not only attends, but reacts in some way. Okay? The student is not only attending, but is reacting in some way. That is responding. The second one of affective domain. Example, the student attends the meeting and asks a question about club activities. The student is responding now. The student has attended a meeting and is asking questions about the different activities at the club context. What are the various activities do we conduct? Okay, that is responding. Moving on to the next one, which is valuing. Valuing is attaching worth or value to an object. Please don't take it in a materialistic sense. It's not talking about materialistic sense. We'll get that clarity as we go down. So attaching worth or value to an object, phenomenon, or piece of information. The student sees the importance of the activity. If we take the example, it will be very clear as we were talking about the club, right? The student consistently attends meeting. The student consistently attends meetings and volunteers to lead a small project. Now, the value part has not come yet. Now the value part comes. Believing that protecting the environment is important. So what worth has been attached here? If you'll see here, that is the belief. You are valuing that the protection of environment is very important. Clear with this example? Any doubt? Please ask. If you have, or if you have any example to share, you can share. We are always welcome for that. So this is the third one, that is valuing. Going to the fourth one, that is organizing. So what is organizing? Prioritizing different values. Now you have already attached values to things. Now organizing is talking about prioritizing different values. Which one to give more attention to, which one to give least attention to. Not easy. That's why you sometimes say that some people are usually convinced, not convinced, sorry, usually confused. Or you say that this person is not very quick at making decisions. He's always confused what to do first, what to do next. And you might have come across the same situation in your life, right? And for small things or for big things also. So when you go for grocery shopping, there is a lot of confusion, right? What to buy, what not to buy. You stand at a counter, you just look and you stare and you're confused what to do. But a person who has already organized and attached values to what is more important, what is least, will quickly go pick the things that he or she needs and walk out. So organizing is prioritizing different values and resolving conflicts between them. Okay, to build an internally consistent value system. The example, if we look into, the student organizes their schedule. Okay, the student organizes their schedule to balance their studies and commitment to the environmental club, showing it a priority. So here, the child has two tasks. The student has two tasks. That is their studies and also commitment to the club. So the student is organizing the schedule to give specific time to specific tasks. That is organizing here. And I gave one more example of you visiting a grocery store to buy grocery. Yes. Any doubts still here? Okay, we'll move on to the next one then. The last one, the highest level, that is characterizing. Okay, what is characterizing? Characterizing is the value system that become a part of individual's character and lifestyle. So this will control their behavior. You have given it such a strong value, right? It will control your behavior. And mind you, sometimes this behavior is manifested unconsciously also. So I'll take one extreme example. Some people are very much into cleaning. They don't stand anything that is dirty. So unconsciously also, if they are at someone else's place, they'll start organizing things. Have you come across any such example, any of you, or any such individual? They will not consciously do it. They'll just start working on it. If they'll see a place that is dirty or not clean. Or there are multiple examples like that. Not only cleaning a part also. If a person is just walking and he finds a paper of plastic and dustbin nearby, he just picks and put it in. And he's not doing it. He's just listening to music or something is happening and he or she just does it. So that is characterizing. But we're talking about positive values here as we are talking about learners. So the example, the student not only participate in the club, but also practices sustainable habits at home, like recycling and conserving water, and encourages their family to do the same. So this value is now part of who they are. Okay. That is what we are talking about. It becomes individual's character and lifestyle. Okay. I'll read the example again. The student not only participates in the club activities, but also participate whatever he is learning, he or she is learning at the club, at home. And examples are given here. And not only participating by self, but also encouraging others to do the same. Okay, so this value has not now become a part of who they are. So this was about characterizing the highest level of the affective domain of Bloom's taxonomy. Now let us move on to the third one, that is the psychomotor domain. That is doing and acting. So this domain is about physical skills. The psychodomain, the affective was emotional, the cognitive was mental, and psychomotor is physical. Okay. This domain is about physical skills and the ability to use motor skills. So it involves physical coordination, movement, and the use of sense to guide action. So again, even for psychomotor domain, there are 5 levels. The first one is imitation, second one is manipulation, third one is precision, fourth one is articulation, and fifth one, the highest one, is naturalization. So remember, I'm just repeating the concepts that you have learned in your B.Ed. Okay, so we are talking about the third domain of Bloom's taxonomy, that is the psychomotor domain, which talks about doing and acting. And it again has 5: imitation, manipulation, precision, articulation, and naturalization. Let us look into each of these aspects. Okay, and the example that I'm taking here is about learning to type on a keyboard. Okay, please remember the example. It's about learning to type on a keyboard. So, okay. Just 1 minute. Okay, no issues. I think I have not added the information in the slides, which talks about all these levels. No problem. I'll quickly explain it. The first one is the imitation. That is the lowest level. It talks about observing and copying someone else's action. Okay. The lowest level imitation talks about observing and copying someone else's action. The example would be watching a video tutorial and trying to place fingers on the keyboard in same way. You're watching a video on how to type and you're trying to place your fingers in a similar way on the keyboard and trying to learn it. The second one, manipulation. it talks about performing an action by following instructions rather than just observing. Okay. That means that you're following a printed guide or a practice manual for typing specific letter combinations without looking at the instructor. I don't know, when we were young, there used to be certain applications that used to come in our systems, which used to help us type and use letter combinations to type quickly, right? So manipulation talks about that. That is performing an action by following instructions rather than just observing. We are moving to the next level. From imitation, we are now moving to the next level, that is manipulation. Coming to precision. Precision is performing a skill with accuracy, proportion, and exactness. And you're doing this without help, right? So here in precision, the performance of the student becomes more refined. And the example would be typing a full paragraph with very few errors and without guidance. If when you're using a keyboard, you're able to type a full paragraph with very limited errors and you're not being given any guidance. Then we come to articulation. Now, what is this articulation? Articulation is combining a series of skills in coordinated and consistent manner. You're doing multiple tasks together. Series of skills are done together and they are done in a consistent manner. That is articulation. If we'll take the example of typing on a keyboard, typing quickly and accurately while simultaneously listening to an audio or transcribing it. For example, you have done a classroom observation and you have recorded the class. Okay, you have done a classroom observation, you have recorded the class, and now you have the recording in front of you. So just listening to the recording, you're able to quickly and simultaneously type. You're able to articulate the information and put it into words using a keyboard. That is articulation. Then the next one is naturalization, which is the highest level. Here what happens? The skill becomes automatic. Okay. Here in naturalization, the skill becomes automatic. And second nature, the performance is effortless and unconscious. So if we take the example of the keyboard typing, right? Typing proficiently without even thinking about the placement of fingers on the keys. You're not even aware where your fingers are on the keys. So your all complete focus is on what is to be written. So just you'll take the keyboard and start typing very quickly. That is the naturalization. It becomes a natural habit for you. It becomes a part of you. That is the highest level for the psychomotor domain of Bloom's taxonomy. Any doubt in this? Okay, we'll move on to the next one then. So we have completed different aspects of Bloom's taxonomy, right? We have completed the cognitive, the affective, and the psychomotor domain, and we have also looked into different aspects that come into these domains. Now moving on to the next concept, that is the teacher. Okay, so what are the different things that are very much required for you as a teacher? This is a very simple thing. I'll very quickly finish this, so don't worry. The first one is subject mastery. Please remember, for you to become a professional expert, for you to become an efficient teacher, subject mastery is must. So you cannot give what you do not have, right? For you to give the information to students, you should have it in first place. If you're entering a class to teach, you should know the knowledge, the content. I'm sorry to use the word knowledge, the content that you're going to teach. So deep and clear knowledge of subject is non-negotiable for a teacher. So subject mastery is must. The second one is pedagogical knowledge. What you have learned in your B.Ed or your BSc B.Ed, BA B.Ed, whatever course you have done, integrated programs. Pedagogical knowledge talks about knowing how to teach. Okay. This includes understanding the methods, strategies, and techniques. Also remember, there are skills. You might have heard something about like micro teaching in your B.Ed classes, right? They include a lot of skills, skill of introduction, skill of explanation, illustration with examples, questioning, blackboard writing, right? Probing questions. There are so many. So skills are also an important aspect. So second one is pedagogical knowledge, that is knowing how to teach. And this includes understanding the methods, strategies, and all others. Moving on to the next one, that is passion and positive attitude. I have made a statement here. Enthusiasm is contagious. If you'll recall the movie Tare Zameen Par, and if you'll recall how Amir Khan enters the class, the energy that he has, the enthusiasm that he has, that gets transferred to the students so that they also start dancing with the teacher. So as a teacher, you should not only have subject matter expert or the pedagogical expertise, you should also have the passion and positive attitude. And that enthusiasm gets transferred to students. Enthusiasm is contagious. So a teacher's passion for their subject and for teaching itself inspires students. So remember, passion and positive attitude is also very important. Next one is classroom management. This is also a skill, as I was talking about different skills. It is the ability to create a safe, orderly, and engaging learning environment for the students where all feel respected and are ready to learn. Moving on to the next one. The next one is, let us now look into the learner, who is the central focus of the whole teaching process. So, what and all are important here? Motivation and readiness. An effective teacher understands what motivates their students, both intrinsically and extrinsically. Intrinsically means from within, extrinsically means something that comes from the environment. Okay? And assesses their readiness to learn new concepts. Motivation and readiness. Second thing is understanding individual differences. We always say that every student is unique. We use the term individual differences. You might have surely come across this word, individual differences. And as all of you have done your internship in teaching, and you might already be teachers in some or other schools, you have observed, or you might know that you're in your classroom, not every child is same. Not even two children are similar. Every single child in your class is different. They're different in their abilities. They're different in the learning styles, right? They're different in regarding to where they come from. There are a lot of differences. So it's very important for you as a teacher to understand the individual differences among learners, so that if you know these individual differences, you will be able to cater or modify your teaching methods based on their needs and improve the overall teaching learning process. So every student is unique, and effective teaching involves recognizing, catering to different learning styles, abilities, and backgrounds. Third one is active participation. So learning is not a specter sport. It's not like you come, you sit, and the teacher just talks, and leaves. It's not something that you view. Learning involves participation. That's why the NEP 2020 talks about so many, innovative teaching or pedagogical strategies. Experiential learning, activity-based learning. For lower classes, they're talking about play-based learning, gamification, right? So active participation is very important. The teacher must create opportunities. As a teacher, you must create opportunities for students to be active participants in their own learning journey. Those who are already working, you might have come across in your classrooms or in your schools. They talk about competency-based, lesson plans. They're talking about 5E, a lot of other things. What are we doing here? We are including activities where we are making learners part of the whole process, where they are also participating in the class. So that is active participation. We'll quickly move on to the next one. That is the content or the curriculum, the what of teaching. Very important. So let us look into the what of teaching. That is, first thing is it should be well structured and relevant. The curriculum that is given and the content that you're going to take for the class should be logical, sequential, and relevant. Logical, that means students should be able to understand what it is. Second thing is sequential, very important. You cannot do one concept and then completely unrelated concept in the next class and then come back with the relevant concept of the first class in the third class. No, you cannot do that. Students will get confused. So when you're teaching, it should be sequential. Concept should be followed in a particular order. And it should be relevant to the students' lives and the real world. If you're teaching something and if you're not connecting it to the real life situation, it makes no sense. So the curriculum should be logical, sequential, and relevant. Then we are talking about goals and objectives. If in case you have learned, if you've read NEP 2020, they have aims, goals, competencies, and outcomes, right? So as a teacher, one should set clear goals and objectives. Both teacher and student should know what they are expected to learn. So it's not only students who should know what they are expected to learn, even the teacher should know what they are expected to learn and why it is important. If you as a teacher are able to internalize why this particular concept is important and how it is going to make a difference in the child's life, you'll be able to teach it better, create experiences and activities which will make student better understand it. Okay, so this is where the Bloom's taxonomy becomes a powerful tool. It helps you to state clear objectives. If you want the students to explain, if you want the students to justify, classify, define based on the different domains, levels that are there, from remembering to create. So this is about the content aspect of it. Then let us come to the learning environment, the where of teaching. First one is a physical environment. When we talk about learning environment, we have to make sure that the learning environment is clean. If you remember your school days, teachers used to come and scold if the classroom was dirty, because these cause distractions to students in the class. Very easy distractions. And you all know, because most of you are already teaching, that students get distracted with the tiniest thing that is somewhere lying around or there. So a classroom should be clean. Second thing is well lit. And the third thing is the classroom should be resourceful. And it should contribute to a positive learning atmosphere. So this talks about the physical environment of the where of teaching, learning environment. Second thing is the psychological environment. This is a very important and crucial part. So what are they talking about? It must be a place of psychological safety. The student should not be scared in your class. The student should not be afraid to make mistakes. Most of us do not ask doubts or did not ask. Do not also, I would say, because if there is a training program or something, most of you do not ask questions. And when you were children also, most of you did not ask questions because there was a fear. Fear from the teacher's side, that the teacher might beat you, or the fear from your peers, which was more dominant. That what if your doubt becomes funny and others will make fun of you? So as a teacher, you have to ensure that there is a psychological safety. Your classroom is a place of psychological safety for the students, where the students feel safe to ask questions, safe to make mistakes without fear of ridicule, and are able to express their thoughts freely. This is the psychological environment, psychological part of the learning environment in the classroom. Third one is supportive and respectful. A positive teacher-student relationship is a positive student-teacher relationship and respectful peer interactions are bedrock to an effective teaching learning process. So this was all about the learning environment that we discussed. And with this, we have completed. If you have any doubts or questions, please ask. I once again request all of you to please follow us on YouTube, because we'll be uploading a lot of information. We upload flashcards, we upload videos, and also please download our app at the Tej Academy. At the Google Play, named Tej Academy. And in the app, you'll find lots of mock tests. They are in the process of uploading. So very soon, all these mock tests and the notes also for the classes that we are taking will be uploaded there. And we are really glad if you are able to reach out and help you all in some other extent. Any doubts or any clarity that you want from us, kindly let us know, or we'll end the session.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Chandana.
So could you explain how classify can be used in different levels of Bloom's taxonomy, same action verb?
For example, if we take application, there we saw classification for understanding, right? In the
Yes.
classroom, yes, in the classroom, Chandan, I am sorry to interrupt. Were you saying something?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, so in the classroom, if you have given different resources to students, for example, if you have given different images of different animals, and now we have talked about omnivores, carnivores, and herbivores, right? So if they have to categorize the given flashcards into the three types, then they should apply the knowledge that they have understood. There comes the application part. So classify can be used here also, classify can be used there also. Is it clear, Chandana?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for asking the doubt. Okay. So Anup has put a message in the chat box. Please share the digital notes in the app. Yes, yes, the team will be sharing it very soon, Anup. Don't worry about it. I think any other doubts here? Yes. So thank you so much for attending this class. Ah, so Pallavi Das has said, add some PYQ questions in the live classes too. We'll try to do that, Pallavi. No issues. We can try to do that based on the topics. We'll identify PYQs and we'll add them to the classes also. The thing is that the PYQ2 team is, working separately and they're working very hard on it. They're trying to collect information. But what we'll do is we'll also categorize them and we'll add on to the given information to the classes. Thank you for the suggestion, Pallavi. Thank you. Thank you, all of you. We'll meet in the next class. You are free to ask your doubts and queries in the WhatsApp group also. So if you have any specific topic that you need to be discussed or any area that you want to be done, then please ask. Anup is asking, sir, what is the best to qualify in Tier 1? I did not understand the question, Anup. I'm really sorry. Can you please restate it or something? You can unmute and talk. Score is something that is not known, Anup, because we'll try to find out. We'll try to see the previous year cutoffs, but cutoffs are something that vary year to year. But we'll try to identify the previous year cutoffs and we'll try to let you know what might be a safe score to attempt in this exam. We surely do that, Anup. Thank you for the suggestion.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Chandana.
So could you explain articulation with one more example, sir?
You want me to explain articulation with one more example?
Yes, sir.
Just a minute. Yes, the psychomotor domain one, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, 1 minute. Yeah. So when we were talking about articulation, that is, we were talking about combining a series of skills in coordinated and consistent manner, right? So when we took the example of the typing part, right? We were talking about typing quickly, accurately while listening to music or transcribing it. That was the example that we took. The other example that we can take for articulation might be riding a bicycle or riding a scooter. So we're able to ride, whereas you're also able to apply the brakes when required. Also, while applying the brakes, you're also looking for the dangers that are there or the direction that you have to move on. So you're able to do all these things together. But this skill does not come in the beginning itself. You have to have practice for this. So imitation, manipulation, precision is required. Then you'll come to articulation. Is it fine, Chandana?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Chandana, by any chance, did you study in RI Mysore?
Yes, sir. You're a student only, sir.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I was confused because a recent passport batch also had Chandana. Very good to see you here, Chandana. Thank you. Thank you, all of you, for attending this class. And I hope that you'll keep asking doubts and we'll be able to make the maximum out of these sessions. Thank you so much. Thank you.